On the 12th, around I guess is between 12 and 12:30. I was on routine patrol in Oxon Hill around the area of Oxon Hill Road and the Tanger outlets. I heard over the radio an accident get broadcast. It said there were multiple vehicles involved and CPR was in progress on one of the drivers. I headed that way as quickly and safely as I could. Once I got on the scene, I noticed there was a small group of people performing CPR on a person next to one of the vehicles. I went up to assist. We moved him to the rear of the vehicle and started talking. There was a woman already doing chest compressions. She was wearing tan scrubs, looked doctor-ish, I guess. Said, when's the last time we checked for a pulse? She says, I did about 20 seconds ago. I said, okay. I said, ma'am, what exactly are you? Lots of people wear scrubs. I said, okay. She says, I'm a physician. I said, okay, I'm here to assist you, ma'am. I said, I'm a prior EMT. How can I help? She says, take over chest compressions. So we did that. I already had my pocket mask out in case we had to do rescue breaths for him. Everything was in place. She and I got on the same wavelength and went to work. We did a couple rounds of CPR on him. The ambulance was getting closer and closer. You could hear the sirens come. Once they got there, somebody showed up with an automated external defibrillator. We popped that on him real quick. It analyzed the shock. We delivered it, continued CPR. The ambulance showed up. We helped them package the patient onto the cot, and they put him in the back of the ambulance. After that, I spoke with that lady who identified herself as a physician for probably maybe a minute, because then I had to change gears from medical back to being the police again because we needed to get the ambulance through traffic so they could get out of there and go to the hospital. So I had another one of my officers secure one lane. I shook the lady's hand. I said, hey, good job. I said, what are you doing down here? She says, well, I live in Garrett County. He says, I was just coming through here. I said, well, very good job. Thank you very much. And then I went right back to doing police stuff, clearing a lane for this ambulance so they could get the patient to the hospital.
And you all want to find that woman?
Of course we want to find that woman. We've got a physical description of her, and other than she says she lives in Garrett County, I know she drives a red Chevy Silverado truck. She was there with her husband. Other than that, she identified herself as a physician. I should have got her information, but it was quite chaos on the scene.
I have two questions for
Sure.
you. To what extent do you believe her starting with the chest compression saved this gentleman's life? And you said you have a physical description aside from her car. Could you give us a physical description?
Sure. In any cardiac emergency, rapid intervention is the thing that's going to save that person. If there's any sort of electrical activity or circulation problem, you need to start CPR, and you need to start it immediately. The fact that when this thing got put out, she must have been driving right next to it. She was headed southbound. The accident happened northbound. She got to him fast. And then after that, she had, not only did we have a physician working on him, we had a prior firefighter EMT with 12 years experience. That patient had the best care he could have gotten from that. Physical description of her, she's a white female. She's about 5'5", medium build. She had probably dirty blonde hair down the middle of her back. She wore glasses. Other than that, very nice woman. Drove a Chevy Silverado pickup that was color red and said she lived in Garrett County.
And she was a physician, or you don't know?
I have no way to confirm that, and honestly, in a situation like that, you don't get into a credential showing match.
But she could be a nurse or...
And she identified herself as a physician, and she seemed very competent in her abilities and remained calm. So that shows me that she'd probably done that sort of thing before.
I just have, what happened? Do you all remember when you were in the car, how the accident happened? And
We were not in the car.
You were not in the car?
He was just being by himself. He was driving alone.
And what would you like to say to this mystery woman? And
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all of those that were involved. This event is such an incredible thing, the biggest gift we can get at this season, because they were so precise, so capable, so in action, that all together made such a change in the life of my husband that it will take me a long time to describe all the implications that could have happened if they could not have responded this fast.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't in the car. My mom was actually talking to my father probably at the moment that he had the heart attack and was in an accident. She called me later, a short time later, and started telling me, you know, I was talking to your father. We were talking about getting lunch. I heard this strange cry. I heard the sound and it cut off. Now I'm calling him back. He's not answering, and it's been too long. He should be home by now. I'm getting worried." And I started feeling really worried. Not too long later, my mom had gotten a call from the hospital. All we knew is that my father had had a heart attack and that he had been involved in a car accident and where he was. I mean, it's hard to explain how grueling it is to be, racing off to the hospital, having only that information. Because if you know those things, heart attack, car accident, it seemed, very likely that something terrible had happened. So I think my mom and I consider it a really sort of a miracle that my father not only would have survived, but that he is in such good condition. And we think that it is because of the folks who responded on the scene. I mean, so unbelievably cool under pressure, so competent. They saved my father's life. So I can't even begin to think about how to express how grateful we are.
Do you
Quick
mind
question,
moving the
how
microphone
badly
a
do you
little-
want to find this woman, and how's your dad doing?
Do you mind moving the microphone just a little bit closer to you?
Sure. I would love to find the woman so that we can say thank you to her. We didn't even know that she had been involved when we first heard what had happened. And it just makes the story that much more incredible. I mean, how lucky my father was that there was a physician on the scene, that an officer with this kind of background and training and so cool under pressure got there so amazingly fast. My mom is a doctor and has been telling me how little time has to go by before you can start to have really serious consequences to the brain and things like that. So it is incredible that they responded so quickly and so well. So we would love to find her just to be able to say a proper thank you. My father is doing really well. He's still in the hospital. We're hoping that he will go home tomorrow. But he, like I said, has, given everything that has happened, he has very few injuries. And he's getting a pacemaker-like device installed today. But when he recovers from that procedure and some minor injuries that he has, he'll be back to normal and back to his regular active lifestyle.
Do you believe in the idea of guardian angels and people who are sent to protect?
Yeah.
And if you didn't, do you now?
He is.
This is a good question.
He is the angel. He's the angel that was nearby. Okay. When we heard that there was an officer that was doing CPR and all that, Jennifer and I, first thing we wanted to do is to find his name, to say thank you, obviously. And then it was the next day, I think it was. The next day, not only he's an angel, okay, he is a very considerate individual. He had the initiative to come and see my husband in the hospital. And the nurse in the hospital comes to us to say that there was an officer that wanted to come and ask questions and things to talk to us. I thought it was in regards to the accident or things like that. No, he walks in and there he is, okay? The one that did it all, the one that made the difference. I so much thank you.
Glad I could help.
Do you feel like an angel? What do you think?
He is an
You're-
angel.
you're
He doesn't
so
feel
sad.
it, but he is.
And have
I'm
you saved
glad.
your life because of your CPR training in the past?
Several. I try to be humble on everything, but in this case, the outcome is so good. I'm proud of this one. I mean, generally, if CPRs involve a lot of bad things have happened. We've done CPR on hundreds of people before, and a lot of the times you don't get to check up on them. So when I heard he was doing as well as he was doing, I had to believe it myself. I had to see it. So that's why I went to the hospital, and it was like nothing happened to him. Absolutely nothing happened to him. He was talking, I shook his hand, I talked to him. He didn't remember the accident, but he was very alert, very alert.
Did the heart attack cause the accident? Do we believe that he had the heart attack at the wheel and then collided?
He lost consciousness.
Yeah.
He lost consciousness and he doesn't remember anything. And the next thing he remembers is when he's entering into the hospital. He doesn't remember the CPR, he doesn't remember the impact, he doesn't remember what happened. He says he just saw something white, like
He
something
told me
coming.
he said he was driving, and it was like he just drove into a cloud. Everything
Okay.
just went white.
White.
And that was it. And then he remembers as he was in the ambulance backing into the hospital, they were telling him he was in an accident and he thought they were all crazy.
And no one else was injured?
He was the only one in the vehicle. He did rear-end another car, which hit another car, but no one else was seriously injured at all, no.
What will the family be doing this Christmas? How are you all going to celebrate this holiday with Dad coming home?
With Dad at home, obviously. We will be very happy. We will be very happy. And it's just so special. I mean, it is just at the moment that it happened, the way it happened, it could have happened any other place. Okay, this event could have happened differently. I'm actually, after all, happy that it happened in this way, because there was such a response that he is now where he is. Okay, and we were able to determine the arrhythmias. We were able to check on all those things, and now he's gonna get this pacemaker type device that is gonna help him. It is just it meant to be. It meant to be.
Major Garrett? Yeah, I had a question for you all about this. Major, I want both of you to address what it's like to have an officer, and if you can slide the mic down, have an officer to have this kind of training. You know that PGPD's been working on making sure that officers have some of the first responding kind of equipment in their vehicles and that they're trained on some of this kind of stuff. How important is it that officers be able to do this?
Well, I think obviously with just this incident in itself, so close to Christmas, which potentially just could have been a tragic outcome, and the fact that we had this Good Samaritan that was willing to get involved and to take it upon herself to make a difference. And, you know, for Officer Solers, who in his short career so far seems to be in the right place at the right time. And, you know, as a commander, and I think even a representative of this agency, and I'm sure the chief, if he could be here, you know, obviously we're very proud of him. He exemplifies what we stand for. And we don't want to forget the Prince George's County, you know, Fire Department, EMS, and the paramedics, who obviously followed up on this to continue the care so that Mr. Mondino could survive this unfortunate incident. But I think when you look at some of the things that the police department has done over the last several years to address certain things with public safety, with the training that the officers have had in the last few years and receiving those trauma packs and the updates involving some of these life-saving measures, I mean, obviously it makes a difference. You know, whether these guys are out here, you know, catching bad guys, investigating incidents, searching for a missing child, helping a domestic violence victim, you know, we're guardians in this community. We're here to help, and we're here to save lives.
Tom, could you speak to the difference it made when you all arrived and having him receive that kind of care before you all put him into that?
As everyone has already said, it's very, very important. The brain starts to die off within minutes after no oxygen, and him being in the rhythm that he was in, it was very, very, he was very blessed to have the officer and the citizen on scene doing CPR before we arrived. So it contributed to his outcome.
And surely you've seen these situations go the other way.
Absolutely.
Did the AED pack come from your medic unit or from the...
The AED 1000 came from the squad that was on scene before I got there. They shocked the patient first. And then once the medic unit got on scene, we shocked him with our Life Pack 15 monitor.
But there are no AEDs in cruisers generally, or?
I can't answer that question. No.
Has that been a consideration? Just throwing out the thought.
I think when you look out throughout the county facilities in this obviously in Prince George's County, we do have those available. You know, that's something that I think that we could potentially explore for the future. I definitely think that that's something that's definitely something that would obviously save lives. So, but if I can just touch on one other thing with Officer Solers, if you remember back in January, the young man that drowned in the pond over in near the Southern Avenue in the area over there, Officer Solers was the one that went into that pond to try to pull that 10-year-old boy out. So I know he suffered from hypothermia along with several other officers that were out there that day. So as you can see, I mean, his commitment to public safety and to the citizens of this county, it's exemplary. So I just wanted to make sure that all of you were aware of that. Obviously, his ability to perform under pressure and to perform in an exemplary manner seems to be a habit of his. So we hope it continues.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays. Thank you. He's coming home when?
Tomorrow.